Caleb. Welcome to the St. Laurent kitchen. We're going to show you a dish for tonight that's going to work great for the holiday seasons. Coming up, it's getting fall weather, it's warm, it's cozy outside. So tonight we have a spatchcock roasted chicken and fingerling potatoes. So all you're going to need, one chicken, it's about 4 pounds, and then a bag of fingerling potatoes. I'll also grab a head of garlic, salt, pepper, your favorite seasoning. I have Za'atar and 1 lemon. So what we're going to do is we're going to prep our bird first. So you have a clean whole chicken. We're going to flip it over on its back and get our kitchen shears. If you have a knife, this will work. This just makes it a lot easier. We're going to start at the booty of the chicken. We're going to cut through the ribs and kind of go through his backbone. It's kind of rough work. But this gets the chicken nice and flat where the chicken will cook super evenly. So we cut through there, we cut through the ribs, we have our backbone. You do the same thing on the other side. This backbone is about 1.5 inches wide. You can save it and you can use it for chicken stock. So don't throw this away, it's super useful. 1 chicken bag. Sometimes your chickens will come with like the organs and stuff in a little bag inside. Take that out. Also, you'll have these little love handles on the chicken, these little fat tags. That's just skin. That will burn in the oven. Take that out. Take that out. If you don't have kitchen shears, get some. If you don't get some, use your knife. It just takes a little bit. Don't cut your finger off. So we have our chicken opened up. If you see any like wishbones, you can pull those out, break them off. And then we've got our chicken opened up nice and flat. We're going to flip it over on its back. We're going to open up these breasts. So we're going to do 1 round of CPR on the chicken to get it cracked open a little bit so it lays down good and nice and flat. All right, there's our chicken. Now we're going to transfer this off the cutting board onto this cookie sheet with a rimmed liner to keep it elevated, keep the air circulating. You're going to want your oven preheated to about 450. This is going to take about 45 minutes to cook. Now we have our chicken on a baking tray with a wire rack. It's going to keep it elevated like I said. First, we're going to want to salt the chicken generously. I use MORTON kosher salt. You can use Diamond Crystal. Just don't use table salt. It's too fine. The MORTON salt is kind of thick, so you can see how much you're doing. It's a lot more difficult to over salt it. So salt the bird. It's a big bird. It's 4 pounds, so you want to be sure you get salt in all the little crevices on the skin side. And we're going to pepper it. Not a ton, because pepper will burn in the oven. And then some of our seasoning. You can use Za'atar, you can use dried rosemary, you can use fresh rosemary, fresh thyme, oregano will work, just salt and pepper works. I just really like this stuff. Probably use it too much. Okay, we've got this side of the bird seasoned. I'm going to flip it over. Some of that seasoning is going to fall off. We'll wash our hands and we'll season the other side. All right, on to the other side of the bird. Salt and pepper, just like we did. This is the inside, so we just want to be sure we get good contact on all the meat of all the different seasonings. All right, salt, pepper, more Za'atar on this side. Just go crazy. All right, so that looks good. Now, so this is all a 1-pan dish. We're going to put our bird to roast. Back on this side, all the seasoning stuck really good. If you want to, you can tuck the wings in so the tips don't burn. It's not necessary. Just be sure that your legs and thighs are fanned out to get as much space for air to cross over the chicken so it'll cook. Chicken's on the pan. We're going to roast potatoes and garlic with it. I'm going to show you how to prep those potatoes and season them. We're just going to line the pan with those potatoes. Okay, we have our bag of potatoes, 1 head of garlic. Let's start with potatoes. We're going to open these up, try not to spill them everywhere. These fingerling potatoes, if you leave them whole, it's going to take like 1.5 hours to cook them. So we're going to split them in half with a sharp knife, just like that. You can use those little baby circular potatoes. You can use fingerling potatoes. If you don't have those, you can use the little Yukon Gold potatoes, and that's really as far as we can go. You don't want to use russet potatoes or those baby new potato creamers, because those will get real dry and flaky in the oven. These potatoes have just enough starch to hold everything together, and they look fancy, so they'll impress your friends and family every time. Also, be sure to wash and scrub your potatoes. That's why they come in these nice little mesh baskets. So we have our potatoes chopped. We're going to put these into a bowl. So we're going to season these really good before they go in the oven. And then we're going to show you a trick once they come out of the oven, how to get them even tastier. So, step one, head of garlic. Get your knife, cut it in half. I really like these Food 52 knives. They're not super expensive. They have like these Japanese steel blades. They're really nice. They hold up really well. They stay super sharp, as evidenced by some knife incidents. All right, so we have our garlic out. I'm going to keep this bottom half of the garlic whole. We're going to put that under the chicken. I'm going to get a few of these other cloves that came out. I'm going to get some grated garlic from those. So open up these pods, knife sideways, bam. The garlic comes out easy. We can chop that up, we can microplane it. You can throw in whole cloves of garlic if you're crazy, whatever you're into. So get you about 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. I'm going to toss these in with the potatoes. For these, kind of broken up, so I'm just going to chop them real nice. There's no science to chopping up cloves of garlic. Onions, you can get all fancy. Garlic, just do it how you would have when you had a knife and a cutting board. Just go back and forth. A nice chop. All right, we're going to throw that in with our potatoes. And you can use more or less garlic. If you hate garlic, don't do it. If you love garlic, plenty more. All right, put our potatoes in here. We're going to get a little bit of olive oil. This is going to be about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Salt and pepper. A couple turns. And then this is about a teaspoon of salt. All right, there's that. We'll mix it up. Easiest way is just to do it by hand. Just get the salt and pepper and garlic tossed around real good. All right, once that's in, we're going to spread that around our chicken. You don't want to get it too close because you don't want these potatoes to like keep it from getting cooked. If you just like pile potatoes on top of your chicken, it will get undercooked. All right, you can pour some of this olive oil on top of there if you want. All right, so we have our potatoes on the tray. We have our garlic with a little bit of olive oil on it. I'm going to hide this underneath the chicken. That's just going to roast the garlic. It'll be great later. All right, I'm going to be sure these are spaced out good. Clean your station up. Throw this in the oven at 450. We're going to check it at about 35 minutes. Check the internal temperature. We'll go from there. All right, for our dish, we're going to make a lemon garlic aioli. For that, we're going to need about a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. So put that in a bowl, just a dollop. All right. To that, we're going to add a lemon. We're going to get half of it, squeeze it in there. I like to squeeze it over my hands to catch the seeds. If you like seeds in your aioli, just don't do that. Your wife will also be mad at you if you don't. All right, lemon juice, Dijon. After that, 1 egg yolk. All right. Now, since this is a lemon garlic aioli, we're going to need to mince up on microplane about a clove or 2 small cloves of garlic. This is my favorite kitchen tool. I use it all the time. It's just a little bitty baby grater. Works good for garlic, lemon zest, Parmesan cheese, your fingers, whatever you want. So, chopped it up super fine. Like a little paste almost. So it's about a clove of garlic. I'm going to add that to our aioli. I have a stray seed. No more. All right. To this, a little bit of black pepper. I'm going to save the salt for the end. For this, my favorite kitchen trick is to get a towel, put it on your cutting board, make a little nest, put your bowl in it. That keeps it from sliding around. Get you a whisk and some neutral oil. I use canola oil, vegetable oil, peanut oil, anything will work. So what you're going to do is you're going to whisk with one hand. This is where the nest comes in handy. And we're going to stream in. We're going to start with about a quarter cup and see where it takes us. There's no real recipe to aioli. It's just whenever it feels right. So I'll show you what it looks like throughout the process. About 2 tablespoons in, it's starting to come together. Now we're about a quarter cup in, and you'll see that it's starting to get a little thicker. Now this is just oil, egg, and our seasonings, and the mustard. This creates an emulsion, binds it up. So, still a little thin. It'll get thicker the more oil we add. If you start trying to use olive oil or something weird, your whole aioli is going to just taste like olive oil. You want it to taste like what you put in. Alright, so we're at almost half a cup. We're starting to get a good aioli sauce-like texture. Looks good, it's creamy, it's smooth, it's got all of our stuff in it. Perfect. Now, if you want to get real fancy, you have really nice olive oil, you can add a little bit in. So I stopped a little shot. I'm going to whisk in just about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, just to add a little depth of flavor. That's a good secret for Caesar dressings or aioli or mayonnaise or whatnot. If you just make the whole thing of olive oil, you're going to be in trouble. All right, so we're going to taste it. It's good. Need some salt, of course. But our lemon juice is good. Everything else is good. So there you have it. A simple garlic aioli. You can pop that in the fridge, keep it covered. It'll keep for 3 or 4 days in the fridge, or you can eat it tonight with your chicken and potatoes. So today we're going to use this Javelin Pro. It's like a ThermoPen ripoff. It's about 50 or 60 bucks on Amazon. It's an instant read thermometer with a really long handle so you don't burn yourself. So you stick this in chicken, steak, vegetables, fish, boiling water. It'll tell you the temperature pretty quickly. Comes in really handy. Got a little magnet on the back. It handles a lot of abuse in my kitchen. It's great. It's my second one. I had an inexpensive version that worked great. I give it as gifts all the time. This is the perfect kitchen tool and the perfect gift. All right, we're gonna check the chicken. It's been in for about 30 minutes. I'm gonna go to the deepest part of the breast, stick it in. We're at about 100 mid-30s. The legs and the thighs will cook a little faster. I wanna be sure that breast comes up to the right temperature. So it'll need about 10 or 15 more minutes. All right, I'm gonna make some kale. So I have DINO kale here. Now I have this fancy little tool. Let's see if it works. If not, I'll just redo it. So you can use that to strip your kale like that if you want. These are some little Williams-Sonoma shears. Or if you're not fancy, it's a pretty beat up piece of kale. You can just grab the kale with your fingers here, pull it down. These kitchen shears are great. So we're going to strip our kale, we're going to wash it, we're going to chop it up, we're going to saute it with some garlic, some onion, some lemon zest, and some red pepper flakes. Alright, to cut kale, you're going to bunch it up, get your knife, we're just going to cut ribbons. These are about 1 inch thick all the way around. Grab it by a bunch, don't cut your thumb off. This does not have to be perfect. Just no one wants to eat an entire leaf of kale. We're going to chop these up, we're going to throw these in a colander, we're going to rinse them under some cool water, let them drip dry, we're going to saute them in a pan. So we have our kale washed and chopped. Have about a quarter of an onion diced. This is about a quarter cup. About a teaspoon of red pepper flakes and a clove of garlic that I've chopped up. I'm also going to half this lemon. Now we're going to go to the stove and cook this up. Alright, so to cook this kale, we're going to use one of my favorite pans. It's called a scan pan. I think it's from Denmark. I use it all the time. It's very well worn in. It's the best non-stick pan you can buy. It's great for eggs, cooked vegetables, fish, any kind of meat. I use this pan probably 70% of the time in the kitchen. Get you a scan pan. So, to the pan, it's already hot. I'm going to add in about a tablespoon of olive oil to that. We're going to add our chopped up garlic and onion. As soon as that goes in the pan, I like to add a little salt and pepper. Alright, we're going to let this reduce a little bit and cook down. We're going to add our red pepper flakes. So with garlic and onion, you're cooking it on kind of a high heat, but you don't want to burn it. The garlic burns really quickly. So we're just going to cook this for a few minutes, right until you see some of the edges of the garlic starting to turn a little brown. We're going to add our red pepper flakes. It's going to toast a little bit, release some of that flavor. This is probably half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. All right, we got that toasting. Now we're going to add our kale. This might splatter because the kale's a little wet. But that's okay. So, our kale's added to the pan. I'm going to toss this, try to get everything kind of incorporated. Just to get a little bit of that oil on the kale. Alright, now, add about a tablespoon of water and cover it. Let it cook on medium-low for a few minutes. That's going to wilt the kale down. And we're ready to go. Alright, chicken should be done. It's been about 45 minutes. I checked the temperature. It's right at 160 in the breast. And that's perfect. So you got it out, won't touch it, cut your oven off. Alright, so we got 162, 163. That's perfect. So your chicken is done. Also, don't burn yourselves. Potatoes are roasted. Those should be pretty tender as well. This comes in really handy to see if something's fork tender. Sticks easy, comes out easily. Potatoes are done. This needs to rest for about 5 or 10 minutes before we chop into it. We're going to transfer it from here to our cutting board, and I'll show you how to carve it. Alright, so we have our chicken transferred to the cutting board. We have our hot pan here. This has a little bit of like chicken fat and some of the seasonings in there. I'm going to take these potatoes, knock them off my grate, into all this good, call it schmaltz. So get those in there, kind of toss them around. Those will be good. You can taste it. Any more salt or pepper or seasoning? Add that now. So, our kale's been wilting down for a minute. All bright green and soft. The vegetables aren't burnt. Perfect. So, finishing touch. A little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. And then quick squeeze with about half of a lemon or so. Alright. We'll toss that together. We'll serve that with our chicken and fingerling potatoes. Time to cut the chicken. First, I like to cut the leg thigh portions off. First, there's a little crease here. Easy peasy. You cook the chicken right, it should fall off the bone, no problem. If you want to separate it even further, you can detach the drumstick, but then you risk this delicious skin. So let's hold that together. One leg quarter there, right in the crease, perfect. One leg quarter there. Next are our wings. For the wings, just give them a little pull out. There's a crease, a little bit of leverage, right through it, chicken wing. Same thing on the other side. Chicken wing. All right, for the breast, I'm just gonna go right down the middle. I'm gonna try to keep this skin as intact as possible. So we're gonna separate the skin. It's crispy. We're gonna go right through the middle of the breast, just like that. Good force. This chicken still has the bone in it. So our breast looks perfect. Now, if you're feeding more than one person, obviously, I like to cut these breasts in half. Again, don't mess the skin up. So here we have roasted chicken. Let's give it a try. Super good. Oh. AIOLI. So we need another bite. Chicken. AIOLI. Super good. We have our garlic, onion, red pepper, kale. DINO kale with some lemon. Perfect. And these pretty little purple and yellow fingerling potatoes cooked in all the chicken fat. Even better. So, your family's gonna love this for the holidays and fall season. Follow these instructions, I'm sure you'll love it.